The Last of Us 2 gets a remaster, the League of Legends final shatters viewership records, and the new Walking Dead game that is hilariously bad. I'm Ash Dixon, and this is GINX News. We had a load of hints and leaks last week, but over the weekend, Naughty Dog finally confirmed that The Last of Us Part 2 was getting a remaster. Now, my first thought was obviously, man, I swear this game is not old enough to warrant a remaster, and it's really not. It only came out 3 years ago, though I'm sure the justification here is that it was a PS4 title, and there was obviously the smash hit TV show, which I'm sure will help sales. Either way, it'll be landing on January 19th next year, and it may even tempt people who played the original. Not only does it have updated graphics, but there's new features too. Most notable is the no return mode, which adds a roguelike survival spin, allowing you to play as new and returning characters. There's also more support for perhaps the most important part of the game, guitar mode. And considering people were already pulling off the likes of Metallica, I'm excited to see what comes next. Maybe some Dragon Force, who knows? Apparently there's some glimpses of cut content too, but if that's all enough to justify a new version of a game that came out in 2020, I don't know. Plus, let's be honest, while there's some fair criticisms of the original, a lot of it was completely unjustified. Hopefully we've moved past that now. What do you think though? Will you be picking it up? Let me know in the comments down below. Borderlands is just one of those franchises that seems to keep chugging along. I personally have tons of fond memories playing the original with my friends, and by friends, I mean literally just Claptrap. And despite the fact that I definitely fell off the Borderlands train a few titles ago, that's clearly not the case for everyone, as it seems Gearbox has 2 new games in the works. The hints can be found over on LinkedIn on the profile of Randall Rice, the former technical director of Lost Boys Interactive. They supported Gearbox with last year's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And what's mentioned there is both Borderlands 4 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands 2. Now, neither of those have officially been confirmed, but it's interesting to see the game divulge down 2 different paths. If I had to predict, I'd suspect that we'd be seeing the new Borderlands first, and considering there's a movie in the works with Jack Black as Claptrap, of course, I imagine they'll probably release it to coincide with that. Camping has always been a touchy topic for Call of Duty. We've all been there, being repeatedly killed by the same guy, sitting in a room surrounded by claymores. Not fun. Well, Modern Warfare 3 seems to be actively tackling the problem, and if the game detects that a player hasn't moved from the same spot in a while, well, they get kicked for inactivity. The problem is, the game's definition for inactivity seems to be pretty damn liberal. And this is a particular problem if you enjoy a little bit of sniping. And this footage from Reddit user Slappy McGillicuddy shows just that. Here they are on top of a building on the map Derail. It's worth noting it's one of the bigger, more open maps, so it makes sense that you'd opt to use a sniper, pick a good spot, and pick off people off in the distance. Well, after picking up 2 kills and putting down some field equipment, the game says nope, bad, kicked. And it kind of started off a debate. Some people say, well, look, he's just sitting there, hardly moving. Of course, it's camping. I'm more inclined to say this is more, you know, sniping. Yeah, it's fun to run around and quick scope, but realistically, this is literally how the weapon is meant to be used. For me, camping is more sitting in a corner with an SMG, waiting for unsuspecting people to run through a doorway. And even then, there's a question of whether that should even be punished. It's not like the game doesn't provide things like grenades and flashbangs to flush people out. Plus, it's always a bit frustrating when the game itself tries to force a certain style of play. What do you think? Perhaps you hate campers and you're happy to see this. Let me know in the comments down below. We all know that esports isn't in the best place right now. The Overwatch League is officially dead, teams are going bankrupt left, right, and center, and all that hype from the investment and sponsors has very much dissipated. But despite all that, League of Legends is still going strong. The finals of Worlds 2023 took place over the weekend, and it turns out it broke the all-time esports event viewership record with over 5.5 million peak viewers. Crazier still, that doesn't even include the figures from China, and the game is huge over there, so God knows what the total number is. And it all makes sense. You had the classic Korea versus China final in the form of T1 versus Weibo Gaming. Better yet, T1 of course has the star player Faker, who, despite recovering from a wrist injury this year, went on to help his team clean sweep the final with a sweet 3-0. And that firmly secures him as the league GOAT at this point. He's won Worlds 4 times now over a career spanning 10 years. Going forward, he'll be hoping to defend his title next year here in the UK. That's because it's been announced that the London's O2 Arena will be the home of next year's Worlds final, which is rather exciting for us Brits. So who knows, maybe this time next year I'll be standing in the O2, bowing before Faker as he destroys everyone yet again. As we're coming to the end of 2023, you would think that we've got all those terrible games of the year out of our system. We've had Gollum, which was so bad that developers literally stopped making games, and Skull Island: Rise of Kong, which speaks for itself. But no, it only gets worse, thanks to The Walking Dead Destinies. And yes, this is a fully licensed game, and yes, it really is that bad. I mean, just take a look at this cutscene. And it's not just the cutscenes, the gameplay is absolutely broken, with the AI zombies so fundamentally bad, it's like they're literally blind. Plus, there's just random inconsistencies, like how Rick's 357 revolver has 12 rounds. Now, I'm no gun-toting American, but even I know that ain't right. And best yet is the boss fights, where you can kill off other iconic characters in the most painfully long duels ever conceived. I mean, seriously, how many shotgun blasts to the face can one man take? The dude just won't die. Now, this isn't some $5 mobile game. It costs $50. $50 for this. It would be insulting if it wasn't so atrociously funny. And that's the show. As always, hit the like button and subscribe for your daily dose of updates on all things gaming. Why not tell your friends about us too, and check out our other channels where we have Let's Plays and video game documentaries as well. I'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again, so make sure you're here too.